What is up, Power Rangers fans? Welcome to Off the Grid, a Power Rangers podcast. I am your host, Jacob Bartley, and this is the Power Rangers podcast where, you guessed it, we talk all things Power Rangers. And right now, we're mainly talking the comic books because that is the ongoing thing going on right now in the Power Rangers universe. But this show is going to cover everything. We're going to cover Power Rangers news, toys, collectibles, the television shows, any movie material coming out, especially movie material coming out, and of course, like I said, the comics. But today we really don't have much to talk about other than one comic, and that is Power Rangers number 3. Should be called Omega Rangers number 3 because we are following the Omega Rangers. But I get it from a marketing standpoint. You want to make sure people know what it is and that it's the Power Rangers, so they call it Power Rangers, even though we're following the Omega Rangers. And I hope everybody's having a great day. I'm having a pretty good day. Just working here and there and stopped by home to do this podcast like I'm going to do every Wednesday. And yes, this show is going to release every Wednesday. Right now I have it at 8 p.m., so it gives me time to record the episode, do any editing, possible editing, load it, all that stuff, render it, all those things. So but maybe in the future, because also I have to read the comic book issue. So I don't get the issues early or anything like that. I buy them at the comic book store just like a regular customer, and I have to have time to read them, take some notes, process them a little bit, and then record the video, edit it, all that stuff. So even if I get the comic at 10 a.m., I still need a lot of time to get that video up. So for now, the episodes are going to release at 8 p.m. on Wednesday nights. I think that's pretty solid given that the comics come out on Wednesdays. And who knows, maybe in the future, if I build this podcast up enough, we'll be able to get some early reviews up of those comics. But yes, we are going to be talking spoilers because especially if it's just me on here for now, there's no point in having a non-spoiler discussion of these comics. It's going to be a very short discussion. And so we are going to talk some spoilers, and there's not really any major news going on right now. No new toys that I haven't mentioned already last week are coming out. So we're going to just jump right into it. Power Rangers number 3. And this is the continuation of the Omega Rangers side of the story when it comes to this whole thing going on with the two Ranger sides having this conflict. The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers are on Earth, dealing with Lord Zed and there being a new Green Ranger and all that stuff, while the Omega Rangers took Lord Draken, stole him from Zordon and the other Power Rangers, and are out in space trying to take on these Imperials or Imperials, whatever you want to call them. And that's where we are. So we are in this story, and I've been enjoying the Mighty Morphin run a lot more because it's familiar, just the Rangers on Earth. We have the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger versions with the White Ranger and with Aisha, Adam, and Rocky on the team. And now there's this mysterious Green Ranger coming up. Very interesting stuff. And then we have the Omega Rangers side where, yes, it's interesting that they're out in space with Lord Draken, but we just had these, for lack of a better word, these vampires. Even Zach jokes about them being vampires in this issue. And so we had these vampires show up last episode, these space vampires, and our last issue. And it's cool. Like, I enjoy reading it, but it's not as interesting as the Mighty Morphin run. But I do think both are going to get more interesting. And I do think the lead up to the crossovers and whatever showdown becomes of, because Zordon said he's going to use all his resources to track down the Omega Rangers and punish them, take away their powers for taking Lord Draken, because he thinks that's a serious offense, and it probably is. But where this issue left off, so last issue, these space vampires called the Horrid, I don't think they literally suck the blood out of people, but they kind of take their life force or their energy, and I don't think they only take that from people. I think they take it from any life force, but also any energy. I think they tried to take it from a Zord, if I'm understanding this correctly, this issue. So we leave off from the last one where the leader and a lot of the Horrid, they find Lord Draken, they're about to kill him, and he says, wait, I can help you find more things to feed off of. And we know Lord Draken is kind of this guy who's going to figure out a way to survive and get what he wants and make sure he can survive to execute any plan he has, long-term plan he has. And I will say, we're going to get into some specifics in this issue, but I'll tell you right off the bat, I don't trust Draken for 1 second. He's trying to earn the trust of the Omega Rangers, especially Trini, because in his eyes, I don't know if he thinks Trini's the smartest one, and he thinks that, and Trini is the smartest Power Ranger, and I talked about this before. Billy is the smartest when it comes to technology and science, and Trini's not far behind him in that, but Trini is the overall smartest Power Ranger when it comes to just regular human smarts, fighting smarts, and scientific smarts, things like that. And as far as having relationships and dealing with people. So I think maybe he's trying to get in her head because, one, maybe she's the most open-minded, and two, he thinks like she is the smartest, so if he can get her on his side, then he has an advantage. And so we pick this up. The Rangers are overwhelmed. They were like very defeated. By the way, their masks were ripped last time. Maybe did they just reform again? Who knows? Or at least Jason's was. So they feel very defeated, but they have to come up with a plan to get rid of this Horrid or get out of this situation. They talk about a few different plans with the robot Zai, and they come up with the plan and they start to execute it. And before they actually start executing it, they're arguing. Zach believes Draken is definitely responsible. Trini isn't sure. So, and Jason's like, look, I got us into this mess. All my decisions got us into this mess. So you lead the way, Zai. I don't trust me. And he's questioning his leadership, basically. So he's letting Zai take control. And at this time, Zai is getting some type of call or transmission from Draken that the other Rangers don't know about, and the readers don't even know about either. So they go with this plan. They go out into space where all the Horde are surrounding the ship. They start fighting them, and Zach says they trained in fighting, I think it's something zero G fighting, zero gravity fighting, which is very different than just fighting in a gravity environment. And they start fighting the Horrid. They have this plan for Jason to go out further out into space and call upon his Megazord. He calls for Red Omega Firepower now, which I guess is their call for their Zords. And then Draken's in the ship with the Horde leader, and he's like, oh, look, they're trying to... He says that they should go attack the Megazord. Oh, because if they destroy the ship and get away in the Megazord, then the Horde would be destroyed in the ship. So Draken is kind of... And this is funny because I was thinking this whole entire time that Draken is playing both sides. I was thinking this while reading this whole time, and I will get to that in a minute because it's very ironic in a line of dialogue between him and Trini. So I'm thinking Draken's playing both sides. If the Horde kill the Rangers, then cool. I'm helping you guys find more things to feed off of. But if he can help the Rangers defeat the Horrid, then oh look, I'm the hero. I was helping you guys the whole time. So he's a little trickster. He's a manipulator. He's definitely not trustworthy from anybody, as we'll see here in a minute. But the Rangers' plan seems to start working, and then we see Zai and the big beast, which has kind of became its own character in this Omega Ranger storyline, the one that Zach kind of had differences with. Him and the beast, I believe his name is Yale, they go to confront the Horde leader and Draken, and then the Horde's like, oh, what are you gonna do? And as Zai's talking to him, Draken stabs him through the back, literally, with a weapon. And this sets the other Horrid into anguish. Of course, it's that cliche where take out the leader and you destroy the whole army. And now it looks like Draken's the hero. So he killed the Horrid leader. They get out of the situation. Now they're back on the ship. And at first we see Jason and Zai talking about leadership and how those responsibilities, and how he liked what Zai's plan was, but he tells him he doesn't like how he went about it. So maybe not informing the team of the plan. And Zai made a good point because he if he would have said, "Oh, Draken's transmitting information to me, trying to help us," some members of the team would have said, "Oh, let's trust him," and other two or one member of the team would have been like, "No, we can't trust that. It's a trap." So Zai decided not to tell them, and he did his own thing, which I think it was the right call because it ended up working out for them. And then we go to Trini putting Draken back in the cell, and he's saying, "Hey, do I really need to be in here?" And of course he does. You cannot trust Lord Draken no matter what. And this was funny. I was thinking, okay, the biggest takeaway, other than the very end of this issue, is that Draken was playing both sides the whole time. Like I said, if the Horrid killed the Rangers, he would have been good. Acted like that was his plan the whole time. Would have went on to help the Horrid until he had another opportunity to take them out. Then you have him with the Rangers. If the Rangers' plan worked out, then he is good. And I'm sure he would rather be with the Rangers than be with the Horrid, because the Horrid could just kill him any moment. He's outnumbered. He's not going to have a chance. So he probably thought, it's better if I get rid of the Horrid. But if the Horrid end up killing the Rangers, then hey, I'll act like I was on their side the whole time. And Trini says, "I think you played both sides and chose whichever one happened to come out ahead." And that's exactly what I was thinking the whole time. So that's pretty cool that they reference that for sure. And probably the biggest thing about this issue, which was really cool, is after Trini's done talking to Lord Draken, Zai is talking to her, and he says, We've arrived at our coordinates. And Draken's saying, at the same time, he's saying, "You don't want to know what goes on in my head. You're about to see all of my nightmares." And then we see this world, and it's destroyed, and there's a sign that says, "Welcome to Angel Grove, home of Lord Draken." And before they arrive, Jason was talking to Zai and saying, "We've never been this far in space." And then Zai tells him, "Yes, you have. You just don't remember." And of course, it was probably the alternate version of Jason that fought Lord Draken in the Shattered Grid timeline. So this must be... So we'll find out more about this. But remember in Shattered Grid when Draken won, and he was just in this world where he was the hero and he saved the day all the time and everybody loved him. And we were like, okay, what is this? Are the Power Rangers all dead? What's going on? And then they kind of relaunched with the Necessary Evil stuff, and the Rangers were kind of back in a timeline where maybe the events of Shattered Grid never happened, because they didn't remember it all. None of them remembered it. So I thought Draken's world in Shattered Grid at the end was the new world, or like another dimension, a world he created, something like that. Maybe it's within the same reality, but it's just so far in space, like it was just so far away from everything else. Or maybe they went to a different dimension. Who knows? We're going to find out. I'm sure somebody out there knows the real answer to that. Let me know in the comments if you do. But that was the crazy thing. So we see this. The whole city's destroyed. It's covered in like this red stuff, this red material, and some of it's like just floating. And we see that the Dragon Zord's there and it's destroyed. The White Tiger Zord's there and it's destroyed. So to me, I took it as this is Draken's fake world that he created, where if you remember at the end of Shattered Grid, he's saving everybody. Everybody loves him. He's the hero. And then he comes into the Power Rangers world, and he comes in as a comet, and that's when they take him in and lock him up at the command center. So, and he's terrified of the Imperials. So the Imperials must have destroyed his world, and he had to get away, and that's why he was so shooken up when he shows up in this timeline. So I think that's pretty cool. I think it's great if that's what's going on. They're tying the Shattered Grid to this together. It's all building up to something, and I think that's really cool. I think we're going to continue with whatever's going on with Lord Draken and the Omega Rangers here for a little bit, and because they're taking their sweet time with these comics, which is good. And if you're impatient, it's annoying, but that's fine. The longer they drag it out, the more issues we get, so that's totally fine. And then we have the stuff going on with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, with the Green Ranger and all that stuff. I heard that we might find out who the Green Ranger is in issue 4 of Mighty Morphin. Now, I also heard that a lot of people out there already know who it is. I purposely am not looking up spoilers because I want to experience the comics without having things spoiled for me. Like, when they reveal who the Green Ranger is, I want to experience it in the comic and go, whoa, who is... I didn't think it would be that person. Even though I have a pretty good idea of a couple people who it might be. I've talked about that plenty of times. I'm still crossing my fingers for Matt, but it could be Grace. We'll see. And like I said, I think a lot of people are out there already know, but apparently we're going to find out in issue 4. About time. I really hope that is the case. But yes, this issue of Power Rangers, the Omega Ranger storyline, I've liked the most so far of these 3 because it's kind of developed the most. It showed us that side of Lord Drakkon you can't trust. Because I thought there was a good chance they were gonna, because he technically did kill the Horrid and help them get rid of that situation. So he did help them. So now they got him back locked up. They're still moving on to their mission to take out the Imperials. And I thought they were gonna veer away from that and kind of Drakkon was gonna escape, and then we weren't gonna see Drakkon with the Omega Rangers. So I'm glad he's still there. And I think seeing this destroyed world is the biggest piece of information we've gotten so far in these whole 6 issues, the 3 from Mighty Morphin and the 3 from Omega. So I really like this issue. My favorite of the Power Rangers 1, 2, 3 so far. I want to know what you guys thought. What did you think? Let me know in the comment section. Did you think this was a better issue than the last one? What was your favorite part? And do you think that world that we see at the end is the reality where we saw Lord Drakkon in this Angel Grove world where he was saving the day? I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Let me know in the comment section what you thought. And that's going to do it for this episode of Off the Grid, a Power Rangers podcast. Short and sweet. Again, I'm your host, Jacob Bartley. You can find me on Twitter at JacobBartley824, where I'm going to try to tweet more. I'm not that active on social media, but I'm going to try to tweet more and give my thoughts on stuff like movies and things like that. You can also see me on Apocalypse Now, our movie podcast. If you just search Apocalypse Movies on YouTube, you should be able to find that. And also, if you want to pick up some off-the-grid merchandise, you can find that on tpublic.com. I'm going to put those links in the description here. We have the old school logo, the new logo, of course, all created by Jake Berlin, who also does the graphics for this show. Shout out to him. And again, thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought of this issue in the comments section, and I will see you all next time. Until then, may the power protect you.